September 30th, 2021. Alright, so I just did the piece. I did an overlay parlay on the evening news, since they came through with some climate changing update on my view of the evening news, or current events, I suppose they call them. Whether they are or they're not, it's all I have access to. I'm thinking, as I'm setting the dinner table for Lynn, I'm like, alright, so what is the equivalent for emissions down to zero? Since I know it's the articulation, familial calendar between the relationship, the anatomical, directive, executive relationship between Nicole and Nicholas that was pronounced when we were little, but then but then never followed through. The humans never followed through and allowed us to be just that. I'm like, alright, so it would be like, I don't scuba dive. However, theoretically, I can postulate. I have a regulator in my mouth. I have on my back, I have a tank of air. They put some kind of funny wristwatch on you. I've seen them do it, and then they check. I know that what's in the tank and attached to the watch and inside the mouth is the only thing you have to go off of. Most important thing. You rely on that being accurate. You plan your dive. You have to half it, and then you have to give yourself emergency just in case, because I'm that kind of woman. I don't like leaving air regulation to like the last minute. In fact, if I could take 2 tanks just in case, I would take the extra weight, but whatever. So here we are on this one dive, 1 tank, 1 regulator, 1 air thing, and it's planned. Halfway down, halfway back. Plenty of time, plus there's some kind of cushion. We'll go with the dive master prepared for this one-time event. So that's what was on the agenda, that was what was on the schedule, that was what was on the holiday, that's what was on the plan. For criminal prosecution, it is like going on that dive, and while you're on that timing mechanic of the gauge of air, other boat operators in the area who knew ahead of time about the weather pattern, who were not honest with your boat operator who planned the one dive, all of a sudden a squall comes in, and 20 feet extra of water is added on top of, or 100 feet of water is added on top of. And so all of a sudden, as you're down there and diving to do whatever you do when you dive, more water is added to the top, which means you have less reserve air and you have less time to get back to the surface and know that you're going to be okay. That's what this life frame feels like. I was relying and counting on people that my grandfather knew, who were incredibly resilient, beautiful people, to pull through and get the marriage between Nicholas and Nicole, whatever that was. There's only $1 in the whole wide world and everybody's fed. Just getting the 2 of us together for extra special purpose, weather pattern. But it never was accomplished. So now I'm in the field by myself. I'm underwater. I can't hear. I can't see. All I have is my 1 gauge. And now I'm starting to feel the air mixture is not appropriate for where I should be on the dive. So again, that water depth comes to play. And then now I don't know if I have enough air to get to the surface. So now it's worth mentioning. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. But I know somewhere, someone had the weather report, someone had the weather pattern, and someone decided to withhold from my dive master the proper necessity, and so there was some foul play in there. I just don't know at that particular department or area who and what in order to put out on my own private log of where I'm at with headspace and with breathing dynamic and in private house of I've been here since birth. I've driven out to Long Island briefly and down south briefly. That's really it. Few airplane rides, but not since I came back from Italy. That was the last. That was the last plane ride trip international. Was when I went to Italy. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. I'm in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken, and I'm on this flag system for symbology. For symbology with climate change and with emissions